Here's Sam Levitt.
We are live here in LA at Dodger Stadium. Final score here today, the Padres fall 3-2 in this series opener against the LA Dodgers. Dodgers move into a tie with the Padres for first place in the National League West. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Sam Levitt with you live here from LA. Padres dropped to 69-53 on the season, and the Dodgers improved to 69-53. These two teams tied with the same record and obviously sitting tied for first place now in the National League West. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. We have the radio highlights for you. Recap this game from start to finish. I think they have fireworks coming up here in LA. They have fans on the outfield grass gathering, and I think waiting for a fireworks show, so you might hear some loud booms behind me in a little bit, so don't worry about that if you hear that. Look, if you're expecting me to get on the air here tonight and crush the Padres and call this unacceptable, you're not going to get that from me tonight. Padres have played really, really, really good baseball as of late, and tonight's loss is certainly not the end of the world and not the end of this series. With 40 games to go, you're sitting tied for first place, and the Padres are a good team, and they've played very, very good baseball as of late. However, if I would have told you after Michael King got scratched from the start, put on the IL yesterday, that Wandy Peralta would go 4 up, 4 down. Randy Vasquez would be pretty solid in 3 2/3 innings after that. And the Padres in total tonight would give up 3 runs on 4 hits. You would probably say to me, if this were yesterday, the Padres are going to win that game if they only gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. And that's exactly what the pitching did tonight. Pitching was plenty good enough to win, having no Michael King in this game. And the Padres offense, bottom line, only had 2 runs on 4 hits. Clayton Kershaw was really good against them tonight. 6 innings, 1 run given up. Padres could not get anything going against Kershaw. In fact, they didn't have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position against Clayton Kershaw. The only time a runner touched second base against Kershaw was Ramon Laureano, his home run in the 2nd inning. Really, aside from that home run, Padres did not have anything going against Clayton Kershaw. And then it was just about missed opportunities in the late innings. Padres had a runner on second with 2 outs in the 7th inning, could not score. They had 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out, then the bases loaded with 1 out, and only got 1 run to cut the deficit to 1 to 3-2 in the 8th inning. And they did put a base runner on in the 9th inning, could not find a way to get that elusive game-tying run. And again, only 2 runs on 4 hits. Padres tonight only had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position. So tonight it was about the offense. Again, you can slice it any way you want. On a day where they didn't have Michael King, where they had Randy Vasquez out there for almost 4 complete innings, Wandy Peralta starting this game in an opener role, Padres gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in this game. So that is plenty good enough to win. And you got to look at the top of the lineup in this game. I mean, look, we've talked a ton about the bottom third of the order, how important they've been, how important that bottom third of the order will continue to be. However, against this Dodger team, it's going to be very, very hard to win games. If Fernando Tatis Jr. goes 0 for 3, Luis Arraez goes 0 for 3, Manny Machado goes 0 for 4, Xander Bogaerts goes 0 for 4. The top 4 batters in the Padres lineup tonight went 0 for 14 combined. That is a tough way to live, especially against what is a very, very good Dodger team. So tonight was about the offense. Top of the lineup did not do much at all. Really didn't do anything in this game aside from a sac fly. And the Padres fall 3-2. Lose the series opener, drop back into a tie for first place in the National League West. But like I said at the very start of this thing, it is not the end of the world. You've got 2 more games left in this series. You've got Dylan Cease going tomorrow, who's been very good as of late. Hopefully he can bounce back tomorrow and set up a rubber game for Sunday. So we'll see what happens with all that moving forward in this series. But the final score here tonight, Dodgers 3 and the Padres 2. Our postgame coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you here at Dodger Stadium in LA. Dodgers win it 3-2 to take this series opener, and it sets up a very important final two games of this series at Dodger Stadium. We'll talk more about those as our post-game coverage rolls along. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a little bit. We have the radio highlights for you, full game recap in a moment. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Let's recap this game from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
And by the way, I told you it was a fireworks show a little bit earlier. It is not a fireworks show. That's why you don't hear booms behind me. In fact, post-game here at Dodger Stadium tonight, they have some sort of drone show, I think, going on. I can't really see it from where I'm sitting, but I believe it's a drone show. Anyway, our starting pitching matchup tonight, Clayton Kershaw on the mound for the Dodgers, Wandy Peralta on the mound for the Padres in an opening role after Michael King was put on the IL yesterday. He was scheduled to start this game. Kershaw dealt a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Peralta did the same in the bottom half of the inning. Kershaw retired the first two batters in the second, but then it was Ramon Laureano.
Two-run shot, and he hammers this one in the air down the left field line towards the pole. It hit the pole! A home run again for Laureano. Didn't look like it was going to stay fair, but knocked it off the pole. And in Ramon Laureano's first at-bat as a Padre in L.A., he takes Kershaw deep and gives the Padres a 1-0 lead.
Has inserted himself directly in the middle of this rivalry.
Laureano's 18th home run of the season. Padres off to a good start. They led 1-0. Peralta retired Freddie Freeman to start the bottom of the second. Randy Vasquez then came in, got the next two outs. Fast forward to the bottom half of the third. Vasquez back to work. He allowed a couple of singles to start the inning. Miguel Rojas then popped up a bunt, but he placed it kind of perfectly. Manny Machado made a dive for it, couldn't get it. Everybody was safe and the bases were loaded with nobody out. Dodgers then had a couple of productive outs. A fielder's choice from Shohei Ohtani brought in a run. That tied the game at 1. Mookie Betts hit a sac fly. That scored a run to make it 2-1. The score stayed 2-1 Dodgers for a while. Kershaw and Vasquez matching scoreless innings in the fourth and the fifth. Kershaw pitched the scoreless top of the sixth inning. Jeremiah Estrada came in and did the same in the bottom half. Kershaw was done after 6. Padres trailing 2-1. And Dodger righty Ben Kasparius came on for the top of the seventh inning. He kept the Dodgers ahead 2-1. So let's go bottom 7. Jeremiah Estrada back to work. Padres still trailing 2-1. It had been a very, very quiet offensive game for both teams. Estrada got the first out of the seventh inning, but then it was Teoscar Hernandez.
Here's a line drive to deep center field. Jackson Merrill is back at the wall. Gonna go. Just snuck it over the fence to the right of straightaway center. Teoscar Hernandez with his 19th of the season and an add-on solo shot here in the bottom of the seventh inning. The Dodgers lead it 3-1.
Yuki Matsui would come in, get the final two outs of the seventh, and strand two runners in scoring position. That kept the deficit at 3-1. Dodger lefty Alex Vesia entered for the eighth inning. He got in major trouble with the Dodgers ahead 3-1. Vesia hit Jose Iglesias with a two-strike pitch. He hit Jay Cronenworth, then a sac bunt from Freddie Fermin moved the runners to second and third. Fernando Tatis Jr. then walked to load the bases. Luis Ariz hit a sac fly to left. That scored Iglesias. It was a 3-2 game. Dave Roberts then went to Blake Trinan to face Manny Machado with runners on first and second and two out. Machado popped out on the first pitch he saw from Trinan. Inning was over. Padres still trailed 3-2. Mason Miller came in, pitched the bottom half of the eighth inning. He retired the top of the Dodger lineup in order. So we went to the ninth inning. Padres still down 3-2. Alexis Diaz came in for L.A. He got the first out, but then Jackson Merrill worked a 9-pitch at bat. He singled. Diaz then struck out Ramon Laureano. With the Padres down to their final out, they pinch hit in the DH spot with Ryan O'Hearn. The Dodgers went to left-hander Jack Dreyer in response.
1-1 from Dreyer. And the pitch is stung on a line into center field, but playable. Dean coming in. He makes the catch. The Dodgers hang on, and we've got a first-place tie in the NL West with 2 more games to go this weekend and then 3 next weekend in San Diego. Dodgers a 3-2 victory tonight to take Game 1 of this series.
And that was that here tonight. If it sounded like kind of an uneventful game recap, well, it kind of was. Dodgers had 3 runs on 4 hits. Padres had 2 runs on 4 hits, and that was it. Padres dropped to 69 and 53. Dodgers improve to 69 and 53. Losing pitcher tonight, Randy Vasquez, drops to 3 and 6, although he was fairly solid in his bulk innings role tonight. 3 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up. Clayton Kershaw was very good. 6 innings, 1 run on 2 hits. He improves to 7-2 with the win, and the left-hander Dreyer got the save, his second of the season, by retiring the left-handed hitting Ryan O'Hearn to end the game as the Padres fall 3-2 in this series opener in LA. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do as the Padres fall at Dodger Stadium tonight. Our postgame coverage from LA continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you from LA as we wrap this one up. Padres fall 3-2 to the LA Dodgers as they drop this series opener. And so the Padres will see if they can find a way to tie up this series at a game apiece tomorrow with right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound. It'll be a good pitching matchup tomorrow. Dylan Cease for the Padres, former Padre Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell on the mound for the Dodgers tomorrow. So very good pitching matchup tomorrow. But first things first, we tie a bow. Full recap for you as the Padres fall 3-2 to the Dodgers here tonight in this series opener. The West Divisional Showdown against Los Angeles is presented by Palomar Health. reimagining healthcare. Again, if you're just joining us, a quick recap of today's game. Really not a whole lot to tell you about. Padres pitching-wise, they had to do things differently today. Wandy Peralta opened this game. He was great in what the Padres asked him to do. 4 up, 4 down. Randy Vasquez went 3 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up, 3 hits, quite frankly. Got into a huge jam in the third. Bases loaded, nobody out. Found a way with the top of the Dodgers order coming up. It's only allowed 2 runs. I mean, really did a nice job working his way out of that trouble in the third. Only allowed 2 runs. It would stay a 2-1 game for a while. Jeremiah Estrada gave up a home run to Teoscar Hernandez. That made it 3-1. Padres would get a run in the 8th inning after they had the bases loaded and 1 out. That's all they would score. Padres could not get a run in the 9th inning, and that was it here tonight. 3-2, Dodgers win it. Again, 3 runs on 4 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Padres. So, again, I said it at the top of the show. Hey, if you were telling me that Wandy Peralta and Randy Vasquez would get you through 5 innings tonight with 2 runs given up, and you've got what I think is a hittable, even though he's been good lately, I think is a hittable Clayton Kershaw on the other side, I'm thinking the Padres have a real good chance to win this game, to have a lead and hand it off to their bullpen in the middle to late innings, but that did not happen tonight. And again, it was a really tough night for the top of the Padres lineup. Tatis, Arise, Machado, and Bogarts went a combined 0 for 14 with 1 walk here tonight. So it was a tough night for them, and that sort of set the tone for what we saw offensively from San Diego tonight. Let's go downstairs here at Dodger Stadium. Here's some postgame reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, close, well-played ball game tonight. Your thoughts on the job that Randy Vasquez and Wandy Peralta did to start this thing off with?
Yeah, clean game, crisp, clean game. Wandy was fantastic. He did exactly what we were looking for. We were at the top of the order when it got Freeman. Randy, 2 runs got him a little bit, but he was able to get us into the 6th. And, outside the homer from Teoscar on Estrada, the bullpen was good and able to keep it right there, which we're able to get on top.
Yeah. Clayton Kershaw, just at his age and what he can do at this point and all the injuries that he's battled through, the guy can still pitch, it looks like.
Yeah, no, man, that's, a ton of respect for, future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw. I mean, the fact that he's gone through what he's gone through and still has a desire and passion to compete, in his 18th season is quite frankly admirable. And but we were in a competition. He competed very well. Added, subtracted, and we had a couple swings on Mariano. Good swing, but he did his part for sure.
Well, one of the turning points of the ball game may have been the bunt by Rojas. A little bit of a different inning if Manny's able to hang on to that one. Great effort on his part.
Oh, great effort. I mean, just right off the end of his glove. Yeah, I mean, that's an out, and they're still at first and second, so the base is loaded. It's different, but, talk about effort. That was a great effort. And our guys gave it a 9. I mean, how about Fermin in the second? I mean, this guy's literally running through a post and, to go after and grab an out. So effort's there, intention there. The competitive spirit's there. We'll be ready to go tomorrow.
How was Fermin doing after that?
He stayed in the game. He's one tough kid, man. I thought it was a shin. I guess he got one of the cameras. It's not the safest space. But gosh, man, when it hit, I mean, full bore, I thought maybe his sternum or his ribs, but looks like he's going to be fine.
Now that we've seen kind of the way you pieced together pitching-wise after putting King in the eye, how did you settle on that strategy, going for Peralta first and go to Vasquez there?
Well, we just look at it more holistically. Always try to figure out a way to get into the 5th or 6th inning and, keep it right there. Of course, we'd rather have a lead. It was really more about, getting Wandy to a certain point, which he did his job, and then getting Estrada. And then Estrada was, pretty fluid, actually, relative to the score. He did a nice job, but once we got to the top of the lineup back in the 6th, it was time to go ahead and take that down. And, if Jeremiah didn't have 3 days off in a row, we don't ask him to go back out, down a run. But at that point, like, he's been able to be efficient with his pitches. And Yuki came in and finished that inning off. And then the next point, we score. And again, you got Miller. We're not going to do that every night, but when you have guys that are, one run down with 3 days off at the top of their order, and we like where our bats are. We took a shot to keep it right there. Mason did his job, and then we still got, more on Adam and Suarez fresh, and Miller should be able to come back tomorrow. So every game is going to be very different. And today we put it together and did our best to keep it close, and we gave up 3 runs, and they pitched pretty well too.
It was more shin for me, not knee.
It was more shin, yes, sir.
Knee is fine.
Knee appears to be just fine. Yeah.
Were you surprised that Teoscar home run went out? It looked like a low like that off the bat.
That's one strong dude, man. I mean, I've seen the guy, especially that part of the ballpark. He seems to be able to do that against us. But I wasn't overly surprised. I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 3-2 loss to the Dodgers on this Friday evening. We'll step aside when we come back. Take your phone calls at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved. We'll get into our daily awards. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in a little while, as well as the Padres drop this series opener in LA 3-2, our Jamul Casino Resort. Padres postgame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you from LA as we continue to wrap this one up. Padres fall 3-2 in this very, very important series against the Dodgers. Padres and Dodgers now both 69 and 53 on the season, tied atop the NL West standings for first place. And the good news is you got 2 more games in this series, 3 more games next weekend in LA. So, hey, you have a right to be frustrated by what the Padres did tonight. Not a good offensive night, certainly, especially for the very top of the lineup. However, Padres have played very good baseball. They'd won 14 out of 17 coming in, 5 in a row. And I don't know. To me, it seems like they deserve a little benefit of the doubt for tonight, and hopefully can bounce back tomorrow in what will be a very important game tomorrow. Hey, every game you play against the Dodgers in the course of the next week and change, very, very important. We'll have your phone calls in a second, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, phone number to call. Get into our daily awards in a moment as well. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower rooftop pool in San Diego's newest spa. It's a VIP gaming experience like no other. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. There were a couple of bright spots out of the Padres bullpen today. Let's tell you about it with our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Here's the 2-2. Smith takes right down the middle at the knees. Strike 3 called. 1-0-2 from Mason Miller, who works a 1-2-3-8 with a couple of Ks.
Mason Miller, our relief pitcher of the game here tonight. He was very good. 1-2-3, 8th inning. Got through Ohtani, Betts, and Smith. 1-2-3 in the Dodger lineup tonight. And hey, at that point, it's a one-run affair, one-run deficit. So the Padres certainly had an opportunity to come back in that 9th inning. Miller got through the very top of the Dodger lineup, did a good job keeping it at a one-run deficit. So for that reason, he is tonight's relief pitcher of the game. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Yeah. Swings here, loops one on a line into shallow center. Merrill charging, coming, dives forward on his knees to make the catch. And 2 down here in the bottom of the first.
Jackson Merrill, nice play in the first inning. That was our early catch of the game, and we keep it as our catch of the game. Jackson Merrill playing some nice defense, as he usually does in center field, helping Wandy Peralta threw a 1-2-3 first inning. Hey, look, Wandy was asked to do a very specific task today, and he did it with flying colors. He went 3 up, 3 down. Ohtani, Betts, Smith in the first inning, then faced Freeman, lefty on lefty. In the second, he went 4 up, 4 down. So Wandy did exactly what the Padres needed him to do. And quite frankly, Randy Vasquez was good as well. 3 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up after Wandy came out. And hey, you also look at that third inning, Manny diving for that bunt off the bat of Rojas. If Manny lets it fall in, he probably gets at least 1 out there. Doesn't end up being bases loaded with nobody out. And maybe that's even less of a damaging inning for Randy Vasquez. But I thought Vasquez, all things considered, bases loaded, nobody out, Ohtani and Betts coming out to get out of that inning with 2 runs given up. I mean, that was pretty good, and did a good job battling out of a lot of dangerous trouble there. So again, I keep coming back to this, and I'm sure we'll get into it more with the phone calls here in a moment. Padres had 2 runs on 4 hits tonight. They gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. Again, if I would have told you that the Padres would only give up 3 runs on 4 hits tonight, considering the pitching situation, considering Wandy starting, you knew that Randy was probably going to come in for some bulk innings. I mean, you're taking that 10 times out of 10. 3 runs on 4 hits. And you had to hope the Padres were going to do enough offensively to give you a win in a scenario like that. Unfortunately, didn't happen here tonight. Phone calls in a moment. First, let's tell you about the heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Well, the heart of the order here tonight, Machado, Bogarts, and Merrill, 3, 4, 5. As far as the 3 and 4 hitters, Manny and Bogarts, they had a rough night. 0 for 8 combined. Each went 0 for 4. However, Jackson Merrill was 2 for 4 with a double. And I'll tell you what, Merrill with the Padres trailing only by a run in the 7th inning, hits a 2-out double, gets himself in the scoring position. Laureano flies out to end the inning after that. And then Merrill worked a really, really good at bat in the 9th inning, saw 9 pitches from Alexis Diaz, hits a single into right center, puts himself on base, tying run on. And unfortunately, Padres couldn't get him off first base. But Merrill had a really nice night. 2 hits in some big spots where the Padres are desperately trying to get that tying run aboard. So he was good out of the 5 spot, but unfortunately, the other 2 guys in the heart of the order, Manny and Bogarts, they each went 0 for 4. All right, let's go to the phones. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved. Let's begin things here tonight. Sam Levitt with you here in L.A. Let's go back home, or at least towards San Diego. Let's go to Rancho Bernardo. It's Anthony. Anthony, you lead us off tonight on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Hey, Sammy. It was a good game. There's not much to complain about, but I will speak about Luis Arraez, and it needs to be said. And he can't be hitting second. To be honest with you, he's had a terrible year. If you look at his slug, he's 9th best on our team. If you look at his slug, his OPS, Gavin Sheets has a better slug and OPS than him, and he's not even playing. So why is this guy hitting second? I mean, frankly, he's been terrible. He's got over 110 singles. He's got a lousy 20 doubles and 6 home runs. He doesn't have any slug. He can't hit a ball deep enough to move a runner, okay? And when he's not hitting 320, he's not valuable to this team. I mean, I love Luis Arraez, but I can't stand when he stands there in the box as if he's Juan Soto. He looks at a pitch and takes it all the way and then flinches at the pitcher. I mean, come on, you're hitting 280. You're not hitting home runs. You're not doing what you need to do for this team. Now, I have no problem with him hitting 6th or 7th. Again, I mean, you can argue why Gavin Sheets isn't playing, and he is. I mean, Gavin Sheets has outperformed him. Just look at the numbers. It's ridiculous.
Oh, appreciate the call, Anthony. Look, passionate, obviously. Look, Luis is in another tough little stretch here. He's 1 for 16, going back to the start of the road trip in San Francisco. It's been a very streaky year for him. And in totality, he's hitting 288, which, quite frankly, for Luis Arraez is just lower than where he's been in his career by quite a bit. I mean, this is a guy who's won 3 straight batting titles entering this season. And we know Luis's prime value is, him hitting in the 300s, well above 300. I mean, you can go over the numbers with the Rise where he's ended each of the last 3 seasons, and I'll do it here for you just to run out the exercise, because he enters, or at the end of today, he's hitting 288, hit 318 last year, hit 314 last year between Miami and San Diego, 354 in 2023, 316 in 2022. So again, I mean, you know the deal. I mean, he's hit well above 300, for a long time. However, you look at it last year, 314. Well, he's at 288 now. I mean, he's dangerously close to being, so I guess that would be to 284, 294, 304. I mean, he's close to being, let me make sure I'm my math here correctly, close to 30 points lower. I was like, is it 30 or 40? Sorry, I'm live on the radio. 30 points lower, than where he was even last year, which was far lower than where he was the year before at over 350. Look, I think the bottom line is this, Anthony. Luis is going to be in this lineup. I know how the Padres feel about him and what he brings. He's going to be in this lineup. Now, if you want to argue he should be batting lower, okay. It's hard for me to argue that, for them to try something different, at the top of the order. You can sell me on that. I'm just telling you, he's going to be in this lineup every day. I mean, it's been like that all year. I know how they feel about him. I don't see a scenario where he's not going to be in the lineup every day. Now, if you want to tell me he should bat lower, okay, you could sell me on that. And certainly he has not been the same Luis Arraez that we saw the last few years. I mean, look, the numbers bear it out. He's only batting 288. If you're if you're not Luis Ariz, it's a very good batting average, but he's Luis Ariz. And this is a guy who, has won 3 batting titles in a row and typically hits well over 300, and he's not doing it this year. And look, this most recent stretch where he's 1 for 16 in his last 4 games, this has been kind of his season. He's got very hot at times, but he's also had stretches of games, and not long stretches, but 4, 5, 6, 7 game stretches where you look up and it's like, oh, he's 1 for 19. Oh, he's 2 for 25. And man, in the last few years of his career, you just didn't see him go periods of games doing that. It was so rare for him to take offers. And you look at, again, this little stretch, he went 0 for 5 in San Francisco, 0 for 4 in San Francisco, 1 for 4 in San Francisco, 0 for 3 here tonight, drove in the run with the sac fly in the 8th inning. Look, he's going to be in the lineup every day. If you're telling me you want to move him down, that's hard for me to argue. I don't know if the Padres plan to do that. And the one other thing I'll say about Luis, which is, repeating what I've already said, is, yes, it's been a different year for him. 288 is quite a bit lower than where he's been, in previous years in his career when he was winning 3 straight batting titles. No way around that. Let's go to Ryan in La Mesa calling in. Hi, Ryan. You're on the Padres Radio Network.
Sam, great work tonight. Enjoyed the conversation with Tony Jr. and about the upside down Ks and how do we score this in our scorebook. Like to see more history. The baggy pants and the 2 hit batters. Was someone out there wearing a 1920s? Let's get off of Tatis. At least he's getting walks. Go Padres. Let's keep the faith. We got a good skipper. Thanks, Sam.
All right, Ryan. Appreciate it. Iglesias' more baggy type pants, I think they helped tonight. I think they helped him get hit. It's kind of funny, actually. I was having a conversation today with a couple of people about pants because we were looking at Alex Vesia's pants, and he wears very tight pants, the left-hander for the Dodgers. And we were talking about that, and we were talking about, hey, like Jose's got, looser pants. Manny tends to wear his pants very baggy. And look, hey, when you wear them baggier, it does create a little bit of extra room for you to get hit by a pitch and for it to just touch that jersey or that pant leg. So, it helped tonight. It did. So that's an interesting observation. Look, as far as Fernando, you're going to look at the 0 for 3, you're going to say, hey, he's got to be better in a game like this. And that's hard to argue, right? You need Fernando to have bigger impact in a game like this. And we talked about it pregame. It was my what to watch for today, right? He had a really good series in San Francisco. He came in on a 5-game hitting streak, 9 for 20 in that streak. Did not really have an impact, a big impact with the bat tonight. Again, the thing about Fernando is he's slugging and hitting for power the way you want him to right now. He's not, right? And the Padres really need him to do more of that. I think he would say that. However, what he is doing, in spite of not doing that, is he's getting on base. And I get it. You want Fernando to slug for more, but it's not like he's totally unproductive. And let me give you a number here. He entered today in a 38-game span, 418 on-base percentage. That ranks 6th in the major leagues in that span. So, again, he's getting on base, which is good out of the leadoff spot. But in a game like this, hey, Fernando hits a home run or 2, you win the game. And that's where, the punch from Fernando can really, really be so effective. So, look, you hope he gets it going here with the slug and the power in the final 40 games. So we'll see. But it's been an interesting, period of a few months for Fernando because he's done some really good things on base wise, but obviously the slug, the OPS, you'd like it to be higher. You'd like it to be a little bit more impactful. Let's go to Pat in San Diego. Hi, Pat. You're on the Padres Radio Network on this Friday.
Hey, yeah, just Luis Ariz is actually one of my favorite players, and just to come to his defense, the Dodgers, man, they got
that was a very passionate call about Luis. I kind of just laid it out objectively with the numbers, So yeah, go, please be my guest. Play the other side.
Yeah, just to come to his defense, man, the Dodgers seems like they definitely got a payroll that goes like far off the field. So I think they may kind of have some people trying to figure out, just how he's going about being so good. and maybe that's playing effect. But yeah, anyways, I had a valuable question, but I was kind of thinking more like a fun question. Did I hear some sort of like video game song that they did at Dodger Stadium, like that one Zelda one?
But I don't know, Pat, to be honest with you. I do know that the organist here, and appreciate the phone call, the organist here, Dieter Rule, I know he plays a lot of different music. Could have been something like that, but I'm not totally sure, Pat. But yeah, it sounds like something maybe the organist. They do a lot of organist music here, and could have been something you heard. I'm not totally sure, and I'm not a video game guy myself, so little hard for me to say. All right, let's squeeze in one more phone call here. Go to Ramona. It's Charles calling in. Hi, Charles. We're on the Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show tonight. Go ahead.
Hey, Sammy. Thanks for taking my call. So, I'm not concerned. I think we're going to take the next two. But I am concerned about one trend I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
We whenever we have an off day, the next day, we come out flat offensively. And while that might not hurt you too much in the regular season because you can recover the next day, come postseason time, if we can't figure out why it is that we are slumping so hard coming off an off day, there's a lot of off days in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that could pose a big problem.
Yeah, Charles, appreciate the phone call. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'd have to literally go and look at what they've done after every off day. Look, I'll take your word for it that they've struggled after off days, but I don't know that for sure without going and looking. It's a fair point. If that's true, again, I would have to literally go on the schedule and start looking at what they've done after every off day, and there's no quick way for me to do that, and I haven't noticed that enough to make a proclamation on it. I'll let you make a proclamation on it, and we'll kind of leave it at that. But look, you're right. If it is a problem, yeah, you get a lot of off days in the postseason. You got to find a way to figure that out. If it is a problem, you come out of an off day slumping. Look, I'll just kind of wrap up my thought on the game with this, just because you alluded to it. Look, and I saw quite frankly some of the discourse online during this game and on X, and I'm just scrolling through as the game's going on, and I'm sitting here, look, and I saw somebody on YouTube comments a little bit earlier about why I said I give the Padres benefit of the doubt tonight. Look, they had come into this game playing great baseball. 14-3 in 17 games, 5 consecutive series win, 5 wins in a row. Did the offense have a very quiet night tonight? Yes. Did they pitch well enough to win tonight? Yes. But I'm not going to sit here tonight after one game in LA where they still have a share of first place with 40 games left. When they entered today, picking up 10 games on the Dodgers in the course of 6 weeks, it is very, very difficult for me to sit here tonight and just crush the Padres for having a quiet night. I mean, it's baseball. It's 1 out of 162. I understand these are very important games. I understand these are games with high stakes. They're emotional. I get it all, but I can't do that tonight. Okay, let's see what they do tomorrow. Hey, they get swept by the time Sunday comes around. All right, then we have a different conversation. But here tonight, was it a disappointing night offensively in particular? Sure. And especially because considering their pitching situation, they pitched plenty well enough to win. So I'm not going to go crazy tonight, though. This team has played very, very well, and 3-2 loss to another really good team in the Dodgers. It's not gonna get me going tonight. It's just not. So let's see what they do tomorrow. See what they do on Sunday. See where they are by the end of this series and by the end of next week when they've played these guys 5 more times after the 3-2 result here tonight. Let's step aside. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow. Final score here tonight, Dodgers 3 and the Padres 2. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network as we continue to wrap up tonight's 3-2 loss in LA to the Dodgers. Sam Levitt with you from Los Angeles as we continue our post-game coverage. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Everything has gone final in the major leagues tonight. Rays beat the Giants 7-6 in San Francisco. A's beat the Angels 10-3 in Sacramento. Rockies beat the Diamondbacks 4-3 in Colorado tonight. Yankees beat the Cardinals 4-3 in St. Louis. Tigers beat the Twins 7-0 in Minnesota. Royals beat the White Sox 3-1 in Kansas City. Orioles blanked the Astros 7-0 in Houston. Brandon Young took a perfect game into the 8th inning in that one. So that was kind of interesting at one point here tonight. Took a perfecto into the 8th inning, but ultimately lost it for the Orioles. They still beat the Astros 7-0. Mariners beat the Mets, who are really struggling right now. 11-9 in New York, the final there. Red Sox beat the Marlins 2-1 at Fenway. Braves beat the Guardians 2-0 in Cleveland. Blue Jays beat the Rangers 6-5 in Toronto. Phillies beat the Nationals 6-2 in D.C. Brewers beat the Reds 10-8 in Cincinnati. The Brew Crew winning a 13th consecutive game that matches a franchise record. They are just playing unbelievable baseball as of late, as again they win it 10-8 in Cincinnati. Pirates beat the Cubs earlier today 3-2. Jack Suwinski hitting a 9th inning home run to give the Pirates a lead in that one. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Friday. Padres fall 3-2 in this series opener in LA. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Here's a line drive to deep center field. Jackson Merrill is back at the wall, gonna go. Just snuck it over the fence to the right of straightaway center. Teoscar Hernandez with his 19th of the season and an add-on solo shot here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Dodgers lead it 3-1.
Teoscar Hernandez, the home run in the 7th inning to make it 3-1. Like you heard, that ended up being the winning run in this game. Padres would make it 3-2, but they could never match that elusive third run that came via the Hernandez home run against Jeremiah Estrada in the 7th inning. So it gives me no great pleasure for that to be our play of the game, but feels kind of obvious. It's got to be the play of the game here tonight. And that is how it went here tonight. Padres fall 3-2. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game show in video form there as well. Taking a look at tomorrow's game, everything pushed up an hour. First pitch tomorrow at 6:10. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:10. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Left-hander Blake Snell on the mound for LA. And again, we'll be live with you from LA beginning at 5:10. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They left on 3. For the Padres, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They left on 5. Winning pitcher tonight, Clayton Kershaw, who improves to 7-2. Randy Vasquez, the losing pitcher, he's 3-6, and the save goes to Jack Dreyer, his 2nd of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 32 minutes, and the crowd here in Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium, 53,119. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:10. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from LA. Again, the final score here tonight, the Los Angeles Dodgers 3 and the San Diego Padres 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.